I used to avoid the kitchen every time I thought about decluttering. It wasn't messy enough to call it a disaster. But something always felt off. Drawers that didn't close right, tools I never used but kept just in case. A quiet kind of clutter that made everything feel harder than it needed to be. In my last video, New to Decluttering, these 10 steps made my home 5x easier to keep tidy. I shared the mindset shifts that helped me finally make progress. But this time we're getting into the real stuff. No theories, just 20 things I let go of in my own kitchen and why every one of them made life easier. If your kitchen feels just a little more stressful than it should, this might be a good place to start. Thing number 1 is hidden clutter. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to collect things in the kitchen without meaning to? It starts small as second peeler because the first one went dull, an extra pair of tongs because they were on sale. Before you know it, your drawers are packed with tools you haven't touched in months. You open the drawer to grab your favorite spatula and dig through 3 others that never get used. You keep that old blender just in case, even though your newer one works better and takes up less space. The problem isn't just clutter. It's the little bit of effort and decision-making these extras demand from you every day. So here's something simple to try. Pick one drawer or shelf. Look for tools you avoid, items you forgot you had, or duplicates that just sit there. Keep the one that works best and let the others go. Number 2 on the list, full kitchen sets. Owning a full set, whether it's plates, cooking tools, or utensils, can feel neat and satisfying. Everything matches. Everything has its place. But here's the truth. Not every item in the set is actually useful. Sometimes a utensil set comes with a few great pieces and one that never really works. Maybe it's a wooden spatula that's too thick to slide under eggs, or a pot that's always too small or too big for your needs. But because it came in a set, it sits in your drawer taking up space. It can help to shift the way you think about it. You don't have to hold on to something just because it came with the rest. Keep what you actually use, the items that feel right in your hand and make cooking easier. And if something doesn't serve you, it's perfectly okay to let it go and choose something that fits your everyday needs better. In the end, it's not about everything matching, it's about what really works for you. Number 3, lids and bottoms that don't match. Let's be honest, most of us have a cabinet filled with food containers that don't quite match up. Lids with no bottoms, bottoms with no lids. Somehow they multiply. Maybe one didn't make it back from a picnic or school lunch, or the microwave warped just one piece. Whatever the reason, they tend to hang around. I once kept a lid from a salad container set, the little kind for dressing even after its bottom was long gone. I wasn't using it, I just hadn't let it go. Every time I opened the cabinet, it was one more thing in the way. These little mismatches might not seem like a big deal, but they take up space and slow you down. So here's something simple. Pull out your containers and match them up. Anything missing a piece. Time to let it go. One small win for your kitchen and your peace of mind. 4th up, water bottles, the kind that multiply. It's easy to accumulate water bottles without realizing it. The free ones from events, the cute ones on sale, the backup ones just in case. But at a certain point, they become clutter, not convenience. If you have bottles that leak smell off, have warped in the dishwasher, or simply never get used, it's okay to let them go. Keep the ones you actually reach for, the ones that feel good in your hand, that keep water cold, and that don't leak in your bag. In our home, we pared down to 1 quality bottle per person, just enough to keep things simple. We keep 1 extra for the occasional left at school moment, but beyond that, we've stopped holding on to backups we don't love. You don't need a full shelf of bottles. You just need the few that truly work for you. Number 5, mugs that overstay their welcome. Coffee cups have a funny way of multiplying. A gift here, a cute mug there, and suddenly your cabinet is overflowing with cups you don't even use. Try this, pull them all out and pick the ones you always reach for, the one that fits just right in your hands, or the one that makes your morning feel cozy. Then count how many guests you'd realistically serve coffee or tea to at one time and keep just enough for that. The rest, you can donate them, gift them, or let them go. You'll gain cabinet space, but more importantly, you'll simplify your morning routine. Fewer choices, less clutter, more calm. The sixth thing regret buys. We've all been there buying something that seemed like the perfect solution, only to realize it didn't live up to the hype. Maybe it was a trendy gadget or a space-saving tool that promised to change your routine. For me, it was the spiralizer. I was so excited to make zucchini noodles and get creative with veggies. It looked simple enough, just twist and go. But in reality, it ended up collecting dust. It was awkward to clean, didn't stay stable on the counter, and honestly, I just didn't enjoy using it. The prep and cleanup took more time than the meal was worth. It's frustrating when something you hoped would help your routine ends up making it harder. If there's an item in your kitchen that's more work than it's worth, it might be time to let it go. No guilt needed. 7th, drinks you don't drink. Let's talk about the tea and coffee you keep, but never actually drink. It might be a fancy herbal blend you've received as a gift, or a bold roast you bought on a whim that just didn't hit the mark. Maybe you keep telling yourself you'll get around to trying it again, but weeks go by and it's still untouched at the back of the cabinet. These forgotten boxes and bags aren't helping your space, they're just sitting there getting older and more stale by the day. The good news, tea and coffee are some of the easiest things to let go of. Most people love trying new blends, so passing them along to a neighbor coworker or local food pantry is a simple way to clear space without waste. You're not throwing it away, you're giving someone else the chance to enjoy it while it's still fresh. Number 8, pots and pans from another season of life. Our kitchen routines shift over time, but we don't always take the time to adjust what's in our cabinets. You might still be holding on to oversized pots and slow cookers from when the house was full, even though now you're mostly cooking for 1 or 2. Or maybe your family has grown and you've outgrown your old undersized pans. Instead of keeping a full range of sizes just in case, try narrowing it down to the pieces you actually use. I've learned that one large sheet pan works for everything, from roasting a few vegetables to preparing dinner for the whole family. When your cookware matches your real life, not your past habits or imagined scenarios, everything in the kitchen becomes simpler. So take a look around. If it's too big, too small, or just collecting dust, it might be time to let it go. 9th, jars with potential. That never got used. The empty jar collection, a trap I know all too well. It usually starts with good intentions. This jar might be perfect for homemade dressing. That little yogurt cup could be great for snacks, and before you know it, an entire drawer or shelf is filled with glass containers that never get used. What helped me was setting one clear boundary: if it doesn't fit in the jar drawer, it doesn't stay. Now, when I'm tempted to keep another cute container, I ask one simple question. Have I actually used this since I cleaned it out? If the answer is no, I let it go. No guilt, no second guessing. Just a small decision that keeps my space a little lighter and more useful. Some jars earn their place, others serve their purpose, and that's enough. And 10th, broken tools and chipped dishes. Let's talk about cracked dishes, chipped mugs, and broken kitchen tools, the things we tell ourselves we might still use someday. I used to keep these kinds of items all the time, mostly out of habit and frugality. I didn't want to spend money replacing something if it still sort of worked. But I've come to realize if it's broken to the point that it's unsafe, awkward to use, or just adds frustration to your day, it's not saving you anything. It's quietly draining your energy. And especially now, when we do so much in the kitchen while distracted checking a recipe on your phone, answering a message half-focused, the last thing you need is a cracked bowl that might break further or a lid that doesn't seal properly. Function matters. Your tools should help, not hinder. 11th on the list, cookbooks that look great but don't get opened. Cookbooks, beautiful, inspiring, and far too easy to collect. For years, I loved picking them up at bookstores or getting them as gifts. They looked great on the shelf, but many of them just sat there. I hadn't cooked a single recipe from some of them. When I finally decided to declutter, I asked myself, have I actually cooked from this? Did I enjoy it? Would I use it again if the answer was no, or if I was keeping a whole book just for one good recipe, it didn't make the cut? These days, with so many recipes, just a Google search away, we don't need shelves of books to cook something new. I still love having a few trusted cookbooks, but now I borrow before I buy. I'll check out a few from the library, test a few recipes, and only keep the ones I truly love and return to. Your kitchen doesn't need to hold every recipe you might try, just the ones you know you'll actually enjoy. Number 12 bins that are more pressure than help. Social media can make us feel like we're failing if our fridge isn't in color-coded bins or all our spices in perfectly matching jars. Truth is, they're often just trying to sell you more stuff. As someone who values simplicity and has a tight budget, I ask myself, is this area genuinely stressful or chaotic, or do I just feel pressured by what I see online? Take my tea cabinet, for example. It's a jumble of boxes, but I can spot and grab my favorite brew with ease. No fancy organizer, no fuss, and zero stress. That tells me it's already functional enough. Now I do use bins elsewhere, but only items I already have. I don't buy new ones unless something truly needs a better home. So if your kitchen doesn't make you anxious, don't squeeze in bins just for the gram. Let your needs not trends decide what stays. 13, the little packets that sneak in everywhere. Let's talk about those tiny sauce packets and condiment extras. If they get used, keep them, but give them a proper place, not shoved in a random drawer. I like keeping ketchup on hand. I just make sure it's in the spot where we'll actually reach for it. But then there are the oddball ones like that garlic dressing from a pizza joint that we know we'll never use. Those you can toss without guilt. Wander through your cabinets and drawers. Do you have sauce packets simply hanging out unused? Consider saying goodbye to the ones you truly don't need. Number 14, sentimental clutter. Souvenirs and freebies are sentimental magnets. Whether it's a branded keychain, a travel magnet, or promotional water bottle. We tend to hold on to them out of guilt or nostalgia, even when we never use them. For instance, when hubby started his new job, they gave branded water bottles handy, so we kept them. But they also handed over a cutlery set with metal straws. We don't use metal straws, so it's time to let that set go. If you've got kitchen drawers storing items not because you use them, give yourself permission to release them. Kitchens should serve your life, not carry sentimental dead weight. 15th, all the stuff living on your counters. A cluttered counter makes everything feel harder, whether you're cooking, cleaning, or just trying to find space to set something down. Too many things on your surfaces can quietly wear you down. You don't need a perfectly staged kitchen, just one that gives you room to breathe. Try this: clear one section of your counter completely and see how it feels to prep dinner there. Often that small bit of visual space is enough to calm your mind and make the kitchen feel more inviting. Bonus tip: store small appliances you rarely use, like waffle makers or juicers in cabinets. You'll still have access to them, but they won't take over your daily workspace. 16 knife blocks and extras you don't need. Knife blocks might seem like a staple, but they take up a surprising amount of space. And if they're old, worn, or falling apart, they're not adding much value, just taking up the best real estate in your kitchen. If you only use a few knives regularly, there's no need to store 10. A drawer tray or magnetic strip can hold your go-to blades neatly and safely without cluttering your counters. And if you've got knives that are dull, broken, or never used, that's a sign they can go too. Keeping fewer, sharper tools actually makes cooking easier and safer. 17th, the big serving dishes you never grab, those big platters and decorative dishes tucked away in the back of your cabinets. It might be time to rethink them. Most people end up using the same simple serving dish over and over, and the rest just take up space. If a dish only comes out once a year, or not at all, ask yourself if it's worth the shelf it's sitting on. A couple of versatile pieces can cover everything from family meals to holiday gatherings. You don't have to get rid of everything fancy, but aim to keep what you actually use. And if you ever need more for a special event, borrowing from a friend or neighbor is always an option. 18 expired ingredients hiding in plain sight. There's something sneaky about spice jars. They seem like they last forever, but in reality, most of them lose flavor in just 1 to 2 years. And yet, we hold on to them. The cinnamon that moved with us from our last home, the baking powder with a use-by date, we don't dare check the 5-year-old yeast we keep just in case. I once found 3 containers of cumin in the back of my spice drawer, all expired. I wasn't even cooking with cumin that often. And the truth is, expired ingredients don't just take up space, they ruin your meals. Flat cookies, bland curries, dense muffins, not worth it. Next time you're waiting for something to boil, take 5 minutes and scan your spice labels. If it's crusty, clumpy, or has a date from a different decade, it's time to let it go. Your food will taste better and your shelves will finally make sense again. 19. The gadgets collecting dust. Appliances are some of the bulkiest, dustiest, most guilt-inducing items we hold on to. Maybe you got a waffle maker at your wedding. Maybe you bought a popcorn machine during a movie night phase. Or maybe you saw a YouTuber swear by their air fryer and convinced yourself you'd use it 3 times a week. I've been there. We had a rice cooker and an Instant Pot, and I kept justifying both, even though I was only using one. Meanwhile, they were taking up half a cabinet. When you open your storage and see gadgets you forgot existed, take it as a sign. If you haven't used it in the last 6-12 months, and especially if you forgot you even owned it, it might be time to pass it along. Appliances aren't meant to be aspirational. They're tools. And if they're not making your life easier today, they're only in the way. Finally, number 20. The paper clutter you forgot was there. One of the quietest forms of kitchen clutter hides in drawers, folded takeout menus, warranty cards, and appliance manuals you'll never read again. I used to keep every single manual just in case, including ones for things I no longer owned. I had 4 menus from the same pizza place, even though I always ordered online. These items feel small, so we don't question them. But together, they crowd out the things we actually reach for, like measuring spoons, pens, or the scissors we can never find. Here's a shift that helped me. I created a manuals folder in my email by searching product names and downloading PDFs. Then, I recycled the whole stack in one go. For menus, I just bookmarked the websites. Decluttering isn't always about big objects. Sometimes it's about clearing the drawer that used to shut properly. Your kitchen doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to feel right for the life you have now. Sometimes letting go of a few quiet, forgotten things can shift the whole space. If this video helped even a little, feel free to like, subscribe, or send it to someone else who might need a little nudge. And if you're wondering what happens after decluttering, how to keep a space feeling light and livable, that's exactly what the next video is about. We'll talk about the quiet, realistic habits that help things stay simple, the habits of a modern homemaker. Hope to see you there.